The world marks the International Day of the Girl Child today to recognize girls' rights and the unique challenges girls face around the world. Here in Nairobi, one lady knows the challenge girls in poor neighborhoods go through, especially during times of political crisis and violence. Betty Adhiambo Adera is a campaigner against gender-based education and has worked with victims in the 2007 post-election violence as well as other political and domestic crises. She joins me this morning to have a tete-a-tete on gains, flaws and the way forward of empowering the girl child. Good morning and thank you for joining us this morning. Well, today being a special day, why is it necessary to even have a day like that when we know that the agenda of the girl child has been going on for a while?
Actually, if you ask me, I think every day should be a girl-focused day.
And isn't it already a girl-focused day?
Yes and no, because there's a lot of talk, rhetoric, but when it comes to actions that really impact positively on the lives and health and social development of girls in Africa and in Kenya in particular, we still have a long way to go. See, the world over, there are about 1.1 billion adolescent girls. And that's a powerful constituency, that if handled the right way, then countries across the world can really move forward the right way. But most of these girls, you find that their dreams, their aspirations, their creativity is cut short due to a variety of reasons. Violence is one of them, political or otherwise. Discriminations towards them accessing education in the first place is another one. Harmful cultural practices is another one. And there are others around their innate abilities to just be girls. Those who lack confidence, those who lack, the required self-esteem. Even if you send her to school, there's still a problem right there. So with all these issues, to me, the girl child, needs to be a topic every day. Not forgetting the boy child, but because of the disparities that are there really needs to be a focus on that. And if we don't do that, we are not going to have as many, women in parliament, as many women in county assemblies, as many women in courtrooms, as many women on the corporate, decision-making tables, if we don't start with them at their girl level.
Given that you've dealt with this for a while, what are some of the stories that stand out for you that possibly through your initiative you can say, had we not done this, this story would have not seen the light of day?
For me, what's really startling is at the cradle, where children are born, where girls are born, where they start their journey to becoming women at the household level. Most of the stories I hear from the girls in my networks suggest that except something so drastically is done within the household level, then all these indicators, we might not get to the right place. For instance, in the informal urban settlements, there is a lot of violence that happens right inside the house. We're having girls who are not raped by the roadside or when she's going to school or to the market, but she's raped right inside the household. By who? By this man who is boyfriend or partner of the mother, and he has to be accommodated because he's the one who's paying the bills. So it is this mother who will be the first one to hide this matter so that it does not, come out and affect her economy. And we're having so many of these girls who come to us in secret saying, look, I have been experiencing rape from the time I was 6 years old. I am now 14. So this is a girl who, even if you send her to the classroom, the teacher will teach, but her head is not there.
Okay. And what is the solution, especially given that it's happening at a very basic level, here being the home? They say charity begins at home, but if this charity is not taking place at home, then it means this girl is already disadvantaged right from the time she steps out of that door.
Exactly.
What's the solution?
Exactly. Well, a variety of solutions. For me, what comes to mind is the whole spectrum of meaningful empowerment of women. Because the reason why this single mother is putting up with this man in the first place who's preying on her own daughters is what? is so that the man pays her bills. So if we can get women into spaces where they are truly empowered economically and also empowered socially to be able to converse with their children the right way, especially when they get into the adolescent stage, to me that becomes the first pointer. But also remember that some of these girls are mothers themselves. All right? And if she's a mother, she's 17 years old, she's definitely not going to school. She may or may not, be married. That's a disadvantage, right there, because if she cannot move forward with her own education, first of all, how will her own children get better, at that with her? So for me, the big and starting point would be a serious interrogation of our political systems, of our political decisions, of our social, decisions and network base to figure out really how can we move women and young women also to the space where they can be independent economically, so that if she's engaging with this man, it's for the right reasons.
Absolutely. Now, one of the reasons why there may have been a challenge, and I'd like to hear what your thoughts are on that, maybe because of perception. When you talk about the girl child, there's a perception generally, not just in Kenya, world over, that it's a feminist movement. It's women trying to disempower the man for the benefit of the woman. Are you doing anything, first of all, to deal with that perception?
We are, and that perception is actually real. And I face it every other day. People ask me, you're always talking about, the girl, what about the boy? Is it that you want the girl to be about, And that's really not it.
That's not the point.
That's not the point. Although in some other context, that is how it has actually come up, and the Western world is more like a woman's world. For me, I'd like to look at a people world, where the man and the woman are actually operating at par and at the same level, and they can both come round a table and just chat as equals on whatever issues they need to. But in our context here, there are disparities that needs to first of all be dealt with. The ground must first of all be made to be level. All right? If you look at access to secondary education vis-a-vis primary education, for instance, majority of enrollment in class 1 at age 6 is actually girls in Kenya today, all right? But when you move to the secondary level, then that disparity sort of like topples, and topples big time. It's like almost half of these girls are not getting into Form 1. Where are they, and what happened, to them? So for me, that's where I come in terms of looking at, but how can we empower the girls as well? To also just come up and be at the same level, with the boys, and together they move forward. But that is not to say that boys are also not, discriminated against. I've come across cases where boys and men are actually suffering in the hands of women. So where we come from really is, an equitable approach to empowerment, where we are moving in to try and bridge the gaps that are there, so that the boy and the girl can engage on an equal platform round the table.
Okay. And the other question would be, what impact would men have? Because this should not be an agenda driven purely and solely by women, but men should be involved. And that, I think, would give it a bit more weight. But your thoughts on what impact that would have on the whole initiative?
Actually, it would have the greatest impact if you ask me, because if you look at who is it that rapes the women or the girls, it's the men. Who is it who infects them with, sexually transmitted infections, including, HIV, etc.? It is the men. Culturally, some communities would prefer to send who to school? It is the boy and not the girl. So for me, the boy and man have to be brought on the forefront insofar as trying to improve the social welfare of the girls. So what we have done in our project, just to give an example, is that we have a cohort of community boys and men who we are calling male agents of change, all right? And we bring them on board, and they take the front line to speak to their fellow, boys and men around adapting more positive cultural norms that then would make both the boy and the girl move forward the right way.
Okay.
So I agree with you that except the boy and man, participate, then we are not a full team in that much.
And all and sundry, as we wind up, what is your message to Kenyans as we celebrate this day or commemorate this day? What is it that you'd want highlighted? And secondly, what are some of the things that possibly pass under our nose and we're not even aware when it comes to the girl child?
Some of the injustices that happen to the girl, we get to realize it when she's already, say, raped, for instance, or when she has already dropped out of school. Girls and women don't just drop out. They just don't get raped. It's a journey. Something has to have been happening for a while for her to drop out of school. So for me, I think I would just urge my fellow parents, like me, fellow, adults around women and girls, to just be more aware on what is going on, in their lives, so that if there is a red flag, tease it out quickly and deal with it. Now, today, as we commemorate the International Day of the Girl Child, the focus really this time is the power of the adolescent girl towards achievement of Vision 2030 for the Sustainable Development Goals. So I just want to implore on all of us to, in whatever space you are, help a girl to go to school, help a girl to stay in school, and help a girl to transition from one level to another. While we are looking at universalization of primary education, really, if you want to help a girl, she needs minimum secondary education. And that is where, to me, the effort even by government and everyone else concerned should be. And to my fellow women, men, and adults are out there, let us go out of our way to just let girls be girls. A girl should be a girl. Do silly things that girls do. That's okay within some, reasonable
confines. Right.
Confines. But let's not make girls to be our house helps. Let's not make girls to be our brides. Let's not make girls to be, the source of, labor, while she needs to be in school.
Especially at a young age.
Especially at a young age.
Thank you very much, Betty Adera, who's the Chief Party at Dreams Initiative at Global Communities. Thank you for joining us this morning. And, this is where we wind up the show. It's now 12 minutes to 9. And take this opportunity to thank you for staying with us right here on Morning Express. For now, we wish you a fantastic and a wonderful, productive day. However, don't switch off. We've got News Center coming up in just a bit. Betty Charlo is going to be taking up that with more news and reviews. Do have yourselves a good day. God bless. Thank you.